Hi, this is Josh from Backyard Bounty in Arizona, and I know it's been a few months since I did an update, but honestly, there was not much to update. It was the end of winter and pulled up everything and replanted everything, so I wasn't doing much out here except weeding, so there wasn't much to talk about. But now that it is the beginning of spring, it is March the 18th today, I can show you what I planted and how everything is growing, and it's doing pretty well. So let me show you, start off over here. These are all, last year I had planted the types of snow peas, eat the whole pod, but these are all the peas that you actually shell and you buy them frozen peas. So that's what all these here are. And then I told you about how I was going to plant wheat. Well, this is the wheat field now. It has done really well. Um, and I guess you could say this might be a blessing in disguise, but I've been checking all my squash and melon plants to see if they have aphids, because in one of the videos I showed, all my squash plants got totally infested with aphids. Well, let me show you here why, because this is a blessing in disguise. There are aphids all over some of these wheat stalks. And while we've been parading around, you can see ladybugs. That's actually a ladybug larva. That's because right before it turns into what we know as a ladybug today. So they've been going around. We've been seeing a lot of ladybugs on all the wheat, which is good. They eat aphids. So whenever we're done harvesting this, hopefully the ladybugs will come by and stick around over here if there's any aphids. But one of the problems we've been having with the wheat is if you know what any wheat disease is, what happens is they get this. One of the diseases we had is called loose smut. It's actually a seed-based fungus. Oh, actually, you know what? I just found some. I'll show you what it looks like. It's really nasty looking. Oh, what happens is, when I first saw it, it looked like dirt was growing straight out of the wheat stalk. It didn't become this. It grew out like this. That's a fungus. That's not dirt. What happens is when the seed is infected, it grows out like that. So it looks really, really nasty. So I called the seed company and I let them know I didn't want a refund. It's not like the whole thing was infected, but some of them were infected. So me and my wife, Abra, have been going out here every few days and making sure. And this is like the last one we found because we've been keeping a look on it. And most of the weed has sprouted up. The ones in the back there, they get a lot more shade, so they haven't quite yet, but everything in front has. So, cross your fingers. Hopefully this works. But I honestly don't know if I'm going to plant wheat again. Seems like a lot of work, but we'll see. And so down here, as you can see, I'm doing a watering right now. Every 5 to 7 days, I turn on. I don't leave the sprinkler system to go on my blackberries, grapes, or wheat or trees because they don't need to be watered every day. I actually, the rest of my garden, I keep it every 3 days. They get a watering, like 20, 25 minutes of deep watering, and then, so they get better root system. But for the blackberries, trees, and the grapes, I actually heavy water them once every week or so. And so that's really all they need. Same with the wheat. The wheat I haven't really watered that much because you don't want to water wheat that much. What'll happen is it'll grow too fast and it'll fall over. It doesn't do right. So the rain, if it rains heavy, I don't water it for like a month. So these are the grapevines. They came back to life. I mean, they go dormant in the winter, but they definitely came back to life. All of them did. They've been doing really well. And then over here, these are my blackberry plants. They're all thorny, so I have to be careful. You can see all these thorns on them. But all the blackberry plants have all these flower buds on them. So they're all going to turn into blackberries. Every single one of them has flowers on them. Which is great. And then more grapes. And they're all the same grade. But then, like this one right here, we're going to get grapes. And these are table grapes. They're not juicing grapes. Yeah, we can juice them, but it's kind of a waste. But we're definitely going to get table grapes. It's pretty cool. And then here's the pomegranate tree. Pomegranate tree went dormant and came back, and then we even got one of these here. That's a pomegranate bud. So when it gets big, it'll probably be a flower the size of my fist. So big, beautiful orange flower. And then these are my two peach trees, and I don't know what is with them, but this peach tree got some blossoms on it, and it's got a few peaches on there. I don't know if you can see that. Those are peaches there, and there's a couple more around here somewhere. But this is just one peach tree. If you look over here on this peach tree, it has got tons of peaches. All these peaches here, all these here, all these here. It is just covered in peaches. So probably come around May, we'll be seeing some serious peaches out here. There's more down here. This one is just covered in peaches. And then my grapefruit tree, I was worried it wasn't going to do too well because it doesn't get too much sun back here, but it has so much new growth on it and tons of flowers on it. So these will pop up during the summer probably. All these flowers on here. The bees will have fun out here. I hope the bees come back. I haven't seen them yet, but we'll see. And then here, I planted some green beans, and I'm only seeing one just popping up after almost a month, but you know what? I'm not totally concerned. Over here. That's a green bean right there. I'm not totally concerned if they're going to pop up or not, just because this patch here, where you don't see anything, does not get that much sun. So I'm not worried. But over here, because of the tree house here, but over here we have a whole bunch of different squashes. We have regular zucchini squash here. We have cucumbers, more zucchini. I bought an 8-ball squash plant. If you don't know what an 8-ball squash looks like, look it up. It is so awesome looking. I had to get one. Some of these plants I had to actually rebuy. Most of them I just planted from my own seed, but some of them I had to rebuy. We also have patty pan squash, or sunburst squash, however you want to call it, and yellow crookneck. So I'm actually really curious to see what this is going to look like when it grows, because it could hybridize itself. I actually saw a picture of a zucchini crossed with a yellow crookneck. It looks pretty cool. And then over here, we have all of our tomatoes. The tomatoes are doing very well. I only had to rebuy a few Roma tomato plants. I planted about 20-something Romas. That's this whole row here, and this whole row here are all Roma tomato plants. What are we going to do with them? Well, I like spaghetti, so we're going to make a lot of spaghetti sauce, or pizza sauce, whatever. That's what Romas are good for, but they're doing really well. Most of these are from seed. And then over here we have a whole bunch of different tomatoes. Jubilee, beefsteak, sandwich tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. They're all mixed in. Some of them are marked, some of them aren't. I have them written down. I just don't remember what and where. And then I got to start tying them down because they're starting to get so big. Right here are the peppers. We have some that are the Santa Fe Grande. They're like yellow peppers. We have a couple bell peppers left. The peppers didn't do too well from seed, so I had to rebuy a bunch of them. Jalapenos, habaneros, Anaheims, and then down here I decided to go with some herbs, just for the sake of it. I have some mint here, Greek oregano, and sweet basil. So those are right here. And that's my watering system. It's still going right now. Back here, I had planted some lima beans. They're doing okay. It was just because I had the extra space back here. I also planted some more green beans back here, but again, they haven't really shown. Not too concerned. This whole area here is my melon patch. It doesn't look that great because I started everything from seed, and it hasn't been that warm. It's been warm here in the low 80s, but it hasn't been that warm, so they're getting off to a slow start. So from here up to here is all honeydew. From here, right here, is cantaloupe, and then all down here is watermelon. The big watermelon, not the long ones, but the big round one. Crimson, excuse me, crimson sweet, I think they call it. And I had to replant a few of the seeds about a month after I planted my seedlings, just because something came and ate them, or the seedlings didn't take, one or the other. But it's doing all right. I think I saw a few grasshoppers around here. They've been munching on them every now and then, but you know what, with a melon patch this big, you lose 2 or 3 plants, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm going to have melons coming out my ears if this works. But, yeah, that's about it. I'll make another update when things look a lot bigger. Until then, see you next time.